Hi everyone and welcome back to Next Diecast. For today's video, I'll be showing you and reviewing this 1/18 scale 2004 Chevrolet Colorado LS Z71 made by Maisto. I've had this model for quite a long time now. I actually got it at BJ's close to like 14 years ago now. Maisto no longer makes this particular model. They also made the GMC Canyon pickup, which is pretty much the exact same thing as a Chevy Colorado, except in the front it has a different grille. It has a slatted grille and the GMC badge in the center, and it didn't have the Z71 4x4 badge on the back there. It had, I think, just off-road or something on it, and it came in different paint colors. But aside from the different badging, it's pretty much the exact same truck. Maisto made the Colorado model for a shorter time than the GMC Canyon model. They made their GMC Canyon model from 2004 until around 2013. The Chevy Colorado, they made also from 2004 until maybe 2009 or 10. I'm not too sure on that. But the Canyon was made for a longer time than the Colorado. They both came in a variety of colors. They both actually came in this dark cherry red metallic, which is an actual General Motors color that was offered at the time. The Colorado also came in an orange, and the Canyon came in dark blue and a dark green. And they all had the same color interior. There were no differences for those. But when this model does turn up on eBay, mint and box examples usually go for $60 or more. If you can find maybe like a worn example like mine here, because I did actually play with this as a kid, you can probably find it for under $40, but they don't turn up too often. And when they do, it's usually the GMC Canyon version. But this review would definitely apply to both trucks because they are pretty much the exact same thing. So go ahead and take a look at the details of the model. We'll begin up here with the front. I think Maisto did a decent job with these front headlights here. There aren't actually any pegs to be seen, but the lenses are a bit too, I think, jutted out over on this side. You can kind of see the gap in between the plastic and the metal, but from a distance you really can't see that. This Chevrolet bow tie here, it actually completely faded off, so I had to take a gold Sharpie and just color it back in, and the finish actually turned out to be really good, but just keep that in mind that it's not going to last forever, and you may have to redo it in Sharpie so it looks a little bit more bold, I guess. There is definite chrome fading on this center chrome line across the grille, but it kind of looks like the real truck, because at this point a lot of these trucks would have chrome fading on them. The grills are just textured plastic. They're not like actual mesh or anything, but that's not a big deal. The chrome down here looks better than the chrome on this upper portion here. I'm not too sure why that is, but this is actually a separate plastic piece for this bumper. And you actually get separate fog lights. Yes, there is a big giant peg in each one, but at least they're not just painted on. I like how they have a little bit more detail in that sense. And the bumper is nice and sturdy or anything. It's not going to come off. The paint quality on this model overall, I would say, is very well done. It's the dark cherry red metallic, as I already said, that was offered on the real Colorado and the real Canyon too. You can see on the side here you do have the Colorado inscription and the separate plastic door handles. The mirrors on mine were actually pretty loose, so I ended up pulling both of them off and gluing them back on a few years back. You see there's a little bit of glue residue on there. I'll have to clean that off later. That's weird. But that's probably just a factory defect, but the plastic is of higher quality. Now, these wheel wells, I think, should actually be separate plastic pieces, but Maisto actually just painted them like a gray finish. But they don't look bad at all. They look like the real wheel wells you would see on this trim of the Colorado. This is the LS Z71 trim, so it's got kind of a mix of what you would find on the LT, and it also has the off-road package on it. And it is an extended cab, so you have very small jump seats in the back here too, which I'll show you once we get to the interior. Maisto, I think, did a great job with the wheels and the tires. Very beefy, very good steering too, and suspension. You don't really see any disc brakes or calipers, but the spokes are pretty small, so they'd be kind of hard to see if they were on there. And back here you get the Z71 4x4 badge that would be on the real truck. And this does kind of cast a little bit of a brown hue in certain lighting. I kind of like this paint color for that reason. Back here, Maisto, I think, did a good job with the taillights. They actually put the pegs on the side, and they're actually kind of subtle. And they do a nice kind of separate reverse light in there, too. Bumper's a bit loose, but they add a nice kind of texture to it. I don't know what you call that texture on there, but the real bumper does have it. And the Chevrolet license plate, too. And back here, it's this Colorado LS. Very loose lift gate handle. I might have to pull that off and glue it back on. Speaking of the liftgate, when I got this, it just would not stay shut. It would just fall open constantly. And I've seen pictures of the Colorado and Canyon on eBay and other sites, and they always have this liftgate down when they're inside the box. I don't think they were really made to last. So what we did here, my grandfather actually had the idea of putting tiny pieces of balsa wood on either side of where the liftgate shuts. So you can see it's this white little rectangle here and here. So then when you close it, it actually stays, you know, in place. It actually stays shut. If I didn't have these here, I would have to slam this shut and hope it would stay up for maybe more than like a minute before it would fall down. I used to actually store this in my closet, and I would hear, you know, just randomly, I would just hear it fall. But you can, you know, use tape or balsa wood or something. We actually had to replace the balsa wood once already because I kept opening and closing this and it would just wear down. But on the inside texture, since we have this open back here and we're looking at it, the inside texture of the bed, I would say, is well done. And part on the dust back here might be a bit too bright red, but the texture and everything is nice. And you could, you know, put stuff back here if you have, like, you know, accessories or like diorama stuff. Very well done. Pretty fake looking reverse light up here. They just kind of painted that on, but at least it's there. I'll give them that. So we already saw the back opening. We'll take a look next at the engine detailing. This opens up like so. You can see it's already starting to kind of lose its grip, I guess. So I'll just hold up the hood. Pretty decent detailing on the engine here. You can actually see all the way down in the bottom of the car. It's actually made up of a couple different plastic pieces. So you can see there's a little bit of like wiring and stuff down there. All the warning labels are actually present. It says something in the center there. It's not power stroke. I forget what that would say, but there's some symbols on there for like the battery and everything. You can see a couple of pulleys down there. The Canyon will have the exact same engine. I don't know if this is a 4-cylinder or a V6, but I think all Colorado trim levels came with the same engine, if I'm not mistaken. Underside of the hood actually has a nice texture to it. Has that kind of metal, or actually, it's actually a separate plastic liner. Maisto usually, they don't usually include that, but on here they actually do. Very cool. But overall, this is actually one of Maisto's, I think, better engines for a car from one of their mid-2000s models. So that's very nice to see that. Yeah, the hood just kind of falls shut. It never really was good with staying open. Even when I got this new, you know, back in 2007, it was never, you know, really staying up that well. And the doors, there actually is an issue with the doors. If you open them often, you'll start taking off the paint. You can see right there, that little pink smudge there. And same thing on this side too. Because the way that these doors are built, it actually does rub against the fender just a little bit when you open them. So be wary of that. I don't open the doors that much at all for that specific reason. I didn't notice the paint, you know, peeling until it was too late, I guess. I played with this a lot as a kid, so, you know, I was opening the doors and the lift gate and everything, putting, like, you know, Lego people on the seats and everything like that. But other Maisto models have the same problem too. The Ford Explorer Sport Track pickup that they also made has that same problem on it. So the doors you have to kind of really open carefully and slowly, because I feel like they're just gonna, like, look at that. They're not built very well at all. They're kind of like the Motor Max doors a little bit, but this is one of the rare Maisto models that has door problems on it. So just open them up very slow and very carefully, and then I'll show you how I close them later once we get to the interior detailing. Maisto, I think, did a really good job with this interior detailing here. You can see there's multiple textures on the inside here, like this kind of leather pattern you see on the dashboard. It even has the SRS airbag symbol above the glove box here. On the center stack, all the buttons are separately painted, and there's actually a nice kind of silver trim along there. I think on the real car it might have been metal. I'm not too sure, but it adds a nice kind of accent to this interior. Door panels are also well done. They just don't have the coloring on them. Like these buttons should actually be colored in. And I think the door handles should be silver. But aside from that, you have a nice texture. And the buttons are actually molded. So that's very good to see. Maisto also did a great job with the seats here too. They kind of feel like the real, I don't know if they're leather or vinyl or what, but they have a nice texture to them. And these are they are the correct size and shape and everything. And back here you will see the very tiny jump seats with the cup holders in between. There's the seat bottoms. They're very hard to see because they match the flooring, and then the seat backs. They do a nice job with the steering wheel detailing too. A little bit hard to zoom in here, but there is the Chevrolet bow tie in the center along with a couple little horn symbols and a nice kind of rough texture on the steering wheel too. Here it is actually spitting with the front wheels. It doesn't turn very wide, but at least it does turn. The silver pedals I actually added. The pedals will be kind of a grayish brown to match the flooring, but I thought it would make a nice accent look to the interior if I made them silver. And I recommend doing the same if you get a Colorado or a Canyon for my Maisto. Oh, and to the left of the steering wheel, there actually is some button detailing, as you can see here. I think they're like the headlight controls and whatnot. And you do have a gauge cluster sticker behind the steering wheel there too, which is well done. Now, closing these doors, this is literally what you have to do. Just kind of jury it back into place and then kind of just push it shut. It's annoying. My Maisto Sport Track and my Motor Max Ford Crown Victoria are just like that too. You have to kind of just like coax the doors back into closing. Kind of annoying, but if you want to, not break these, that's pretty much what you have to do. But if Maisto were to re-release this model today, the doors would be a lot better. You'd probably have a little bit more detailing on like the door panels and everything. But what they have here, I think, is just fine. I just wish the doors were better quality. They're just very kind of slow, and yeah, and look at that. It looks like it's going to just fall right off, and then just click it back into place like that. And I feel like the door issues and the lift gate issues are going to be on on both the Colorado and the Canyon models, regardless of when they were made and what color you get and everything. So just be mindful of that, and there are ways to, alleviate the issues, I guess, just by opening the doors carefully and, maybe putting in either tape or balsa wood like we did here for this lift gate. Undercarriage. This is kind of a different direction for Maisto. They didn't even do the exhaust silver, or chrome, I should say. They do the exhaust behind the muffler chrome back here, but that's it. I mean, everything is kind of molded in three-dimensional form down here. There's like, you can see like the differential and stuff. And the muffler too, but it's just not really colored in. I wish they maybe at least done the chrome that they always do, but I mean there is the chrome pipe back here and whatnot, but aside from that, it's just kind of three-dimensional like black plastic. And the spare tire on the bottom is actually removable. Let me just there we go. It looks pretty good overall. It's the proper shape and size and everything. And the hubcap is actually off because I guess you would put one of the hubcaps on here on the spare tire. But it's a full rubber spare tire with the full wheel. I know on some models, you just have like the fake like black molded into the plastic, but this is actually a true like separate spare tire and a wheel. So that's really cool to see. And you can even like put it inside the back of the truck like that. Makes a nice kind of, and I think at one point I did it like that. I just had it on the shelf with the wheel kind of balanced back there. So cool touch, I would say, for sure. So yeah, this model is fairly hard to come by now. Oh, there's also a crack up here on the windshield. I did that as a kid. I forget what I did to it, but I tried using Novus plastic polish to kind of hide it, but it didn't work. Though I did get a very kind of shiny windshield on here, so it worked out, I guess, in one way. But anyway, this model is kind of hard to find nowadays, and you'll probably end up finding, I guess, a better deal or a cheaper price on one that's maybe, been used or out of the box or played with like mine has. But you can always, get it as like a fixer-upper or something if you want to. And the GMC Canyon model, as I said before, pretty much the same model. It just comes down to, do you want the Chevy version or the GMC version? And I guess like what paint color you want. As always, hope this video and review was helpful, and feel free to comment down below with your thoughts on this Colorado model. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.